Now introducing the final fight of the night. We got episode 318 of the All You Can Hear podcast, Summer Fisting Punch 5.
No.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
right. I tricked you, Tanner.
Wow, you did trick. Wow.
That's pretty fucked up.
Yeah. I
Man.
don't like
It's
it.
like so fucked up, dude. What the hell?
What the hell?
So, if you're just joining us, this is the final portion of this season of the Summer Fisting. I am one of your three co-hosts, Wenzel, and joining me today are my two violent co-hosts.
Shitting my pants as the cops throw me on the ground cold.
And I'm Mad Dog Tanner.
Oh, wow. Put him down.
Yeah. Also, I cut people. I got a knife. Because there's a lot of that in this movie.
Okay.
Wow, knife Colt.
Yay! It rhymes.
So, if you can read from the title of the episode, we're going to be talking about 2011's The Raid. This is also the film that basically started Summer Fisting.
Yup.
Yeah, I don't even remember the conversation, but I remember Wenzel saying we should watch The Raid, and then all of us being like, we should just watch movies in general, or more action fighting movies in general. And then Summer Fisting was born.
Well, it was Wilkman. Wilkman was, it was you, Tanner, said something on Twitter about that. Or maybe I did say The Raid or something, and then you were asking something about Twitter, about arts movies. Wilkman said something, also mentioned The Raid, and I was like, God damn, we need to watch The Raid. And then it was like, well, let's just watch a bunch of films.
Yeah,
So,
shout out Wilkman.
yeah, shout out
Yeah,
Wilkman.
thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, so let's get right into it. The Raid is directed by Gareth Evans. Runtime is 101 minutes or an hour and 41 minutes. The fighting style is Pencak Silat, which is the indigenous fighting style of Indonesia, but contrary to popular belief, the only person who actually uses Pencak Silat is mostly the main character, while the rest of the cast uses Pencak Silat and combination of other fighting styles, including judo, karate, taekwondo, and many others. Should mention that. Budget is $1.1 million with a box office of $9.3 million.
That budget is a lot higher than I thought for some reason.
Really? That budget is way lower than I would have expected.
It's fairly low, and what's interesting too is that because of how low it was, Gareth Evans, so I guess I will just say this right here. Gareth Evans actually originally wanted to make The Raid take place in a prison, but since they had such a low budget, he couldn't do it, so he just made it an apartment building. But after the success that The Raid was, they got more funding, and that's how The Raid 2 was able to happen.
Oh, so that one takes place in the prison?
That one takes place mostly in a prison, yeah.
Ah, okay.
I say mostly because, well, if we ever do watch it,
We will.
you'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, so you'll see. But yeah, notable actors and character lists. If I mess up these names, I am sorry. I tried really hard to make sure I got these right beforehand. So yeah. So please excuse my my mispronunciation, my accent. So first up, we got Iko Uwais as Rama. We got Joe Taslim as Jaka. Donnie Alamshah as Andy. Yayan Ruhan as Mad Dog. Pierre Gruno as Wayu. We got Ray Sahatapi as Tama, and Tigar Satria as Bowo.
Okay.
And those are basically the characters we really do stick with throughout like most of the film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, synopsis. A rookie member of an elite team of commandos, Rama, is instructed to hang back while his comrades in arms go ahead with their mission to take down a brutal crime lord called Tama. However, the team's cover is blown, and Tama offers sanctuary to every criminal in his high-rise apartment block in exchange for the cops' heads. Now, Rama must take command and lead his remaining team on an ultraviolet charge through the building to complete and survive the mission.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but you made fun of it, so I felt like it was fair.
I have to. I don't know why that happens sometimes. Sometimes when I'm in the middle, I guess because I'm losing air or something, I just get super high pitched. I don't know.
Listen, everybody knows we are professional podcasters here at All You Can Hear Network. Sometimes your voice cracks. It's a fact of life.
Yeah, you talk.
So if you called for Wenzel for that embarrassing voice crack, you're gonna have to get through
embarrassing, like so fucking embarrassing. Like, don't even bring it up because it will be like nagging him in the back of his mind because it's so embarrassing.
Cole, you took it too far.
I mean, Cole's just doing what you're doing.
Nah, Cole took it too far.
I should mention what's interesting. I didn't know this. The original or the tagline for this film is 30 floors of chaos. There's only 15.
Yeah, there's not 30 floors here.
Yeah, but you got to think, if you count all the rooms, there's floors in there, probably 30.
That's fucking.
There's more than 30 floors.
But it's fucking stupid.
I think that's actually an extremely sick move. Like, it'd be like coming into my house and being like, "Welcome to my 6-story home," and you go upstairs and that's it.
Yeah, that'd be pretty funny.
I think that's funny.
Sure. All right. I guess we'll just get right into it. Okay. So this being our final film of Summer of Fisting, and with everything we've watched previously, what was our initial just impressions, just base impressions of it?
It's slow. I will not lie. It is a slow movie at times, but when the action gets to kicking, it gets to kicking real hard. Very violent. Like, Jesus Christ, very violent.
Wenzel actually has a funny story to tell. I don't know if he's going to tell it.
I will.
Okay. The first 10, 15, I would maybe even say 20 are a little slow. But like Colt said, when it starts cooking, they start cooking, and it's fast, it's furious, and when it says in the synopsis ultra violent, it is truly ultra violent. Like, some of it feels a little gratuitous because of the level of excess of violence that there is. But yeah, you gotta give it a little bit. They have to do setup, and it makes sense. Like, the beginning of this movie is there for a reason. But yeah, you definitely gotta see it through because boy.
Yeah, no, I've rewatched this film probably now 4 times, and with now the 4th time, I'm like, yeah, okay, that beginning section, definitely 20 minutes into it, the pacing is just it's pretty slow. But like Tanner said, it's kind of necessary to kind of set up everything. Not as quick to action as the rest of the films we've watched so far. So I guess that's kind of a definitely a disclaimer to also spoilers. I don't think I said that. Spoilers for this movie, obviously.
Listen, it's punch 5 of Summer of Fisting. If you don't think we're getting into spoilers, what's wrong with you?
I just got to make sure. And then also too, definitely a content warning for how ultra violent it is. I mean, with how much blood there is. Yeah.
Yes.
But even though it's definitely slower, it's probably the most violent out of all of the films we've seen.
Oh yeah, easily.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a contest. Easily.
Yeah. So I guess I'll go into that. How do we because, and you could mention too, I guess your favorite, just go right into it. Like, you can mention your favorite fight scenes too. Like, how does this violence and brutality work in conjunction with the fighting styles being the most violent film? How do we feel about that? How, what's going on with us when we're seeing all of this crazy shit?
I need to know more about Pink Axelat, because in this movie, the main guy uses a knife and his bare hands for most of the fights. And I'm curious if that style involves a blade, because holy shit, it was smooth the way he was cutting these people's throats left and right.
It does not involve a blade, but it can involve weapons.
Oh, see, because I thought it was gonna be Krav Maga is what I thought maybe the primary fighting style of our main protagonist was, just because he did have the knife. So I thought it was, but then I thought it was weird. I was like, well, why is he using like a Russian fighting style? That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, you good? Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was it. But you go ahead, Cole. I don't think you were done.
What was the question?
Okay, well maybe he was done. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about like the action. How do we think like the violence in the movie kind of like lends
More like
itself?
working with the fighting style. Like you
Yeah.
talked about how you want to learn more about AYCH Xtra. I should mention it's pronounced Penchak. That's how it's pronounced, Penchak.
Well, what I was gonna say is like I don't know anything about this fighting style. This is the first time I've encountered pure that, because I know they've done work with other movies.
Yes.
But I don't think it's purely that style.
No,
it?
because now the stunt choreographers. So I guess I should mention to this too. Specifically, Iko Uwais and Yayan Rahan, I believe. That's how you say their names. They are both. All of these guys have kind of backgrounds in fighting, but those two specifically, they're both very renowned, like, stunt choreographers, instructors, and in their fields of fighting. They were both in The Force Awakens, and they did the stunt choreography for that film. Oh God, Iko Uwais will actually be in Expendables 4. I'm trying to see here. Let me see. Iko Uwais was also in Snake Eyes, Stuber, and The Night Comes for Us, which are all action films. He has done a lot of stunt choreography for a lot of films. I could have sworn though that Yayan. Oh shit, maybe it was Yayan. Hold on. I didn't look this up, and I don't know why I didn't look it up beforehand.
Oh
Give me
my
a second.
goodness.
Oh fuck, I was right. Oh my god. Oh shit. Okay.
Somebody help him.
No, so I kept thinking, I was like, I could have sworn one of these guys was in a film I've recently seen. So I was confusing. I kept thinking that Iko Uwais was in John Wick, but he's actually in Expendables. He was in the trailer. And for some reason, I kept thinking that was John Wick 4. But Yayan is actually in John Wick 3. I completely forgot about that. And he's in a movie I saw last year called Yakuza Apocalypse. And dude was insane. He was awesome. Sorry. I was freaking out because I was like, oh shit, I just
Who is he in John Wick 3?
Who was he in John Wick 3? That's the thing. I can't remember
know.
exactly.
That's fine.
I feel like he was like a henchman to one of the higher
He
ups.
was it says right here he is Shinobi number 2.
Yeah. But I do remember his face. It's
so was he one of the
clear.
twins
I don't know.
that Keanu fights like towards the end-ish of the movie, and like in the glass room?
I should mention too that so there's 2 Shinobis here for John Wick 3. There's Shinobi number 2, which is played by Yayan Ruhan, and then Shinobi number 1 is played by Sisep Arif Rahman. He is from actually the second Raid movie and is one of the main antagonists. Which I remember him. It's been so long I couldn't tell you. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I've recently watched all 4 John Wick movies, so I was trying to traverse my mind of the Wick catalog of villains.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, no, if they incorporate AYCH Xtra into their stunt choreography, they probably do, because it, as a fighting style, is very much involves like the full body, from what it says here. So it's a full body fighting form incorporating strikes, grappling, and throwing, in addition to weaponry. Every body part is used and subject to attack. Its focus is self-defense, but from what I remember, because I remember when I first watched the Raid, I remember looking up AYCH Xtra and just being so into it. I was like, holy shit, this is sick. And I remember looking up, and somebody just briefly described Penchak Salat, even though it's a self-defense, defense, it's more like somebody because looking back on it too, I don't know if this is you can apply this just to this. You can apply it to any fighting style, but I think from what we've seen, you could definitely make the distinction that the person said, and I quote, or sorry, as I can remember, said that basically the fighting style is like kill your opponent before you get killed, kill before you get killed, or something like that.
Hell yeah.
And from what we've seen too, you can definitely get that impression because of how they fight. So I guess a better question I should have asked with most of the films we've watched using kung fu, MMA, drunken boxing, and even taekwondo, how does Penchak Salat compare to what we've seen? How do you guys impressions of seeing it being used on screen compared to the other fighting styles we've seen?
Like I said, it's definitely more involved. I feel they are using their whole body. They're hugging these people, slamming them, doing all kinds of shit. While I feel like the movies we've seen in the past are mostly pushing them away, punching, kicking, obviously, but they're not using like their torso in a lot of the fighting.
Yeah, I would say this. I mean, obviously, like with all of our other styles we've seen, they are close quarters. I feel like this is still even more close quarters because it's almost like you're wanting to grapple almost with who you're fighting and like get in a clinch and pull them towards you. Where, like Colt said, like in Kung Fu, you're trying to create some distance and you're really using your limbs as like your advantage, like your wingspan or your reach in general. Where with Penchak Salat, it's more so you want your opponent as close to you as possible, and you're just trying to. I mean, you're throwing elbows. It feel like just for like modern MMA terms, it feels like cheating because like you're just trying to do anything you can to shut down your opponent. I mean, you're throwing elbows, you're gouging eyes, you're fish hooking, you're going for the nose. I mean, you're doing I mean it's pretty dirty, like in terms of regular MMA, but like you said, Wenzel, like the whole principle of the style is kill before you can be killed. And so that makes total sense. If I'm fighting for survival, I'm not going to be like, all right, here we go.
Rules.
No punches to the groin, obviously. Try to avoid the face. No, you're doing anything you can to shut him down.
Yeah, you're getting in close, and you're under the assumption that the person attacking you is trying to kill you, and
Yeah.
you have to kill them. Yeah, no, that makes total sense. And what I love watching it too is like the only way I can describe watching it is like it feels so angular. Like you're getting in close, but they're utilizing their joints. Like you said, they're throwing elbows, they're throwing knees, like they're utilizing their joints and kind of moving so angular with their body that it almost feels like they're moving in like vectors and attacking multiple points. It feels very fluid, but like I said, it feels like I can only say angular. It's so weird, but it's so fascinating to watch.
Yeah.
And I just think that's interesting. And also too, whenever they're so if you like notice too, whenever our main character Rama is like or even another character we see, but like when they're coming in to like do like close like chest or torso strikes, that you'll see them where they'll be blocking their opponent's hits, but at the same time they're moving their hands, they're twisting and contorting them, and they're like moving their hands while they're also blocking.
Yep.
I think that's fascinating because they're just basically building up momentum and speed so that when they can easily not only deflect but quickly go into a strike. I just think that's so interesting.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And also too, with a lot of these movies, they're like especially the prior four we've seen, in 99% of the fights, they're not going for the kill. You're looking to incapacitate and knock out your opponent. In this movie, they are going for the kill.
Yeah,
So, like, there's just two
yep.
totally different modes of fighting there.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, like if they do end up knocking out the guy, that's good. But for the most part, if they can kill you, they'll kill you.
Yep.
Like that's just how kind of this the film functions too, without leaving any like kind of like loose ends, because that would also kind of detriment like the characters.
Yep.
But yeah, no, and so I should say too, with how fascinating I think Penchak Salat is, the director also thought it was very fascinating, because in 2007, that's how Uwais was discovered by director Gareth Evans. He was filming a documentary about Salat, and while he was in Uwais's training hall, and Uwais's natural charisma and great camera presence encouraged Evans to cast him as a leading role for his first martial art movie, Marantau. I'm not sure about how you pronounce that. I forgot to look that up. But after signing a 5-year contract with Gareth Evans and his production company, Uwais resigned from his daytime job as an operational driver at AYCH, an Indonesian telecom company. I just thought that was very interesting.
That's
Also,
awesome.
yeah, no, it's super sick. And also too, Colt, good point out for you on recognizing the guns being what they are. All the guns used in the film are airsoft replicas.
Yeah, I knew it because there was a scene where it shows a look right down the barrel, and I'm like, that's an airsoft barrel.
Yeah,
And I
no,
immediately knew, and then Wenzel was like, "No, shut the fuck up, you nerd. You're not a gun nerd. Fuck you."
yeah, no. Okay, I didn't say all of that, but no, I was just because no, I mean you were right. I was just messing with you. You called it. I mean, all of the cycling, muzzle actions, flashes, and everything were all added digitally. So it just should let you know that. And also too should kind of to give more credence to these actors. Every actor who played a member of the SWAT team went through a training program with Kopaska, Indonesian Navy's special ops unit, to study the techniques used in the force, including weapons use and hand signals. And then also too, Yayan Ruhan, who plays Mad Dog, once trained Penchak Salat for Pasukan Pangamanan, Pengamanan, I believe, President. The Indonesian Presidential Security Forces, it's equivalent to the U.S. Secret Service in 1989 for the Indonesian Military Police Corps in the early 1990s. So
How old is he?
he's pretty old.
Yeah, okay, because he doesn't
Yeah,
look
he would have had to
that
been
old.
he would have had to been in his late 30s in this movie then.
He was born in 1968.
Jeez.
68, so
He's
he'd been
50-something.
36.
Yeah.
In this
Yeah.
movie.
And then also too, I mean, it's crazy because I was looking up Wise, and this year he turned 40. I was like, holy shit, he's 40 now. So he was 28 when he made this movie.
God.
Dang.
Oh wait, hold on. This is 2011, not 2004. So in 68, okay, sorry, he would have been 43 in 2011. I'm still in the Kung Fu Hustle mind,
which is
Oh,
still
fuck.
crazy. Like 43. Yeah, no. No. I mean, it's just these guys are masters. I think that's also incredibly fascinating too. I mean, many of the people that we have watched are masters of their of what they do. It's just interesting seeing these guys actually like also to like contribute to like training like the military and police forces, which is crazy. Yeah. So I guess also too should ask like what do we think about the overall plot and themes of this film? Were they coherent? Were they good? Were they bad? How do we feel?
I will say I kind of don't know the plot. I know that there's a big bad drug dealer man that runs this building, and they're going in there to get him. And the brother, I mean, the main character, the brother works with him. I knew that, but I kind of like the whole thing with the guy with the white hair being the like starting this thing secretly, this raid secretly. A lot of it just went over my head for some fucking reason.
Tanner?
So I thought the plot was, I you know,
And you're not wrong, Colt, for
Yeah.
also not like you kind of said the whole plot. It's very cut and dry.
like I'm not watching a movie like this for some like amazing story. I'm watching
Yeah.
it for the action set pieces, which this movie delivers in spades and then some. I'm right with Wenzel. The action is, or the plot itself is very like all right, drug deal. Oh wait, somebody on the inside was the bad guy. Uh-oh. Like, it just seems kind of cut and dry in that way. Like, it's
Yeah.
nothing earth shattering, like, oh my god, the plot. But no. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on the plot. But I think the plot takes a back seat to a movie like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the plot is, if you want to kind of understanding, like, I know we said the synopsis, but it's just literally, well, actually, if you read the synopsis or if you listen to the synopsis, you'll pretty much get it, because it's just that these guys, they go into an apartment building to take down a crime lord. It's not on the books, so they're on their own. One of the cops is a traitor. Most of them get killed. The traitor guy is trying to basically gain power. There's actually even a character that they mention that I believe is in the raid 2. So I think that's something interesting there. Yeah, and then that's pretty much it. Like, it's just literally they're just trying to stop a crime lord and take over this apartment building from being under his control. That's basically it. Nothing too crazy. I do enjoy the theme of brotherhood with our main character Rama and his brother Andy, and how like they both want to do the things that they feel are right, and with Rama being what he is, and then also to Andy also being what he is, which is basically he's like kind of like a criminal mastermind in a way. Even though he is not like completely like totally evil, because he does save his brother, and he doesn't really want to. Well, he does end up killing like 2 goons by himself, so he's also capable too. But yeah, it's kind of a weird little kind of thing there with morality. But yeah, so that, I mean, there's nothing too big. It's literally just kind of meant to be this. I think mostly though it's meant to be Gareth Evans trying to, rather than doing a documentary about AYCH Xtra, he wants to do a film with it, and being able to visualize what that would look like in a fictional kind of like setting where he can use prosthetics and effects and stuff like that. I think it's very much just Evans doing that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, the movie almost seems more to be about the action than the actual plot, too, in that sort of sense as well.
Yeah. Like even about like the fighting style itself, because the character we follow mostly is the main character Rama, and he mostly uses, or he only uses AYCH Xtra, which I think is just Evans trying to highlight him and the fighting form, which is not a bad thing. I it's very cool. Let me see here. I should ask too, what do we think about the cinematography?
I thought cinematography was pretty good. Like when the movie first started, I remember saying like this feels like something that came out in the early 2010s. Not in a bad way. It's just like there was a specific style around that time, and it was a very dark movie. Like holy shit! Like I mean, the content in it is dark, but like visually, it was hard to see some stuff.
Yeah.
And that's like I feel like a very early 2010 style, and like some of the action scenes, the camera was moving similarly to like some big actiony movies around that time frame. It wasn't bad. It was good.
I honestly feel so the cinematography in itself, just kind of looking at it from a movie that's kind of similar, and I actually had this thought before Winslow even mentioned anything. It kind of reminds me of John Wick 1 in a way, specifically the first one, where they're kind of a little experimental, not a huge budget by any means.
It's
So
dark.
Yeah.
it's
Kind of
dark.
brooding.
They're trying to do some different stuff, really highlighting the action, because again, the plot in its essence is very cut and dry.
Even though the plot took the world by storm for John Wick.
Oh,
They
sure,
killed his
yes,
dog. You gotta kill back.
yes, yeah, no, absolutely. But like on paper, it's a very simple story. So I really liked it. I thought the way they framed the fights were really good, especially the last fight between Mad Dog and Rama and Andy. I thought was shot honestly perfectly. Like I don't know what else I would have done differently in like that sense, or what would have made it look even better. Yeah, I thought all the fights were framed perfectly and really set each other apart. There's one fight in like a really small hallway that I thought was really cool, but instead of like just pulling a straight up old boy where they're showing like the progression through the hallway, it's really frantic. You have like this third person view of Rama, and it's sick in its own way. But yeah, I thought it was great, and like I said, with the limited resources that they had, I thought they did phenomenal.
Yeah, yeah. I guess too. I should go ahead and ask. What was everybody's favorite fights? Fights? What multiple?
The cocaine, not cocaine. The drug manufacturing
The
area.
narcotics lab.
Yeah,
I
that's
guess.
easily my favorite fight in the movie because it has all the main SWAT team members just going fucking crazy. Even big old man just like picking up a chair, throwing people. Not really like a special fighting style. It's just called being old and having a little muscle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I thought, I thought all the fights in this movie were good to great, but I think the final fight, Rama and Andy versus Mad Dog, is just like on another level. Like it's so raw and gritty and feels gross, and like the finality to the fight, as they put Mad Dog down per se.
Yeah.
It's fucking incredible. Like pro- I would have to sit with it for a little bit, thinking about like my favorite fights from this run of Summer of Fisting, but that's up there for sure. Like I thought it was incredible.
Yeah. No. That final fight is insane because it's just these two versus Mad Dog, and Mad Dog is definitely meant to be like, because he is smaller than them, he's meant to be deceiving, but he is like crazy, and like that also gives credence to like um the character or the actor in general being like as old as he is, with as much experience as he has, and then also to being like a strong kicker. Like kicks are very powerful, especially like just in general terms, like more powerful than punching. So yeah, it was insane fight. I always just enjoy when when first watching the hallway fights, specifically the first one where Rama is using the knife with the baton, and then the second one where he's fighting the machete gang. I always love seeing people's reaction to those because um they're just both kind of brutal in their own ways, with the first one being like uh he's using a baton with the knife and then like just messing people's knees up, and then the second one, like when he uses the broken door frame to stab that guy through the head.
Oh yeah, that's, I want to say it, most gruesome final blow of any movie we watched.
Yeah.
For real, because every time I see that, I'm like, God damn, like you're talking about using the environment to your advantage. Like that was the coldest, smoothest move like I've ever seen, besides like that one move in Police Story where Jackie Chan gets into the car. Like it was insane. Like
Yeah.
just that small little move right there is crazy. Um, oh man. Let me see. Also, yeah. So, going back though to your to the lighting. Yeah. So I have a fact here. Lighting in this film was very difficult since in several sequences the camera turns 180 degrees around and moves around the room. To supplement this, the production crews used lights on long poles and constantly moved with the camera.
Ah, okay.
But
Well, you got to improvise.
yeah, they definitely do use the darkness to their advantage, especially with that first ambush scene where the characters are trying to not draw attention to themselves, since they just noticed that how dark the floor is above them, and you see the guys with guns looking for them. So there definitely is kind of an advantage to that, but it definitely also is hard to see. Another fun fact here: the main character's name Rama appears to be taken from Rama Sakana. According to Sumatran folklore, Rama Sakana is a woman who credited to have been the first person to teach Pencak Silat in a structured way. I thought that was fascinating. Yeah. Also, total body count. I don't know if this was because in so many of the films, like if people do die, they're usually shot like in Police Story. But like, I don't think I've ever seen like body counts for this film. The IMDb website gave a body count for 121 people.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, there's constant death. There was a few times where like it felt like the main guy was like knocking some guys out, but brutally
Killing
stabbing
others.
someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was just killing all of them.
Yeah. I wouldn't doubt he went back through that knife and stabbed everyone that was knocked out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was so funny too, because there's this one guy who every time I watch it, I just don't give a flying fuck about him. Is a Bowo.
Yeah, he sucked.
He is an
He's an asshole.
He's just an asshole. Like, I mean, yeah, he gets shot, and then he also like gets shot in the ear. But like, there's no reason for like, even when he's not shot, he's just mean to this one guy who's like, "I'm trying to help my sick wife," and he's like, "Fuck off, dude."
Yeah, I was about to say he was an asshole before the mission even started.
And why was he one of the few to actually fucking survive?
I know, right? Because they're like, "Oh yeah, don't worry, Bobo's actually a good man." Clearly not. The only good, like, besides Rama, I mean, the only other good guy who like survives all until the end is the one guy who was put with the old man to protect him, but then he gets shot in the face.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we actually see him fight in the narcotics lab. It was pretty cool. And then he just gets killed.
Yep.
Like, Bobo literally is on the ground crawling and just stabs a guy multiple times in the face.
That was really brutal.
That was brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Oh, I almost forgot. I'll tell my story about Tanner mentioned it earlier. Sorry, I just almost completely forgot. So it was so funny because we were sitting there watching this movie, and we're watching the final fight with Mad Dog versus Andy and Rama. And Tanner's like, I could have sworn JoJo showed us this fight on YouTube about 7 or 8 years ago. And immediately I smile because I'm like, I'll just go ahead and say it. I was like, hey, JoJo did not show you. I showed you guys.
I knew because I was pointing at Wenzel when Tanner was saying it.
Colt knew too because I have shown Colt several of the raid fight scenes while we were in high school, waiting in the car rider line. I just think it's funny little memory there. But even then, before that though, it was probably 2015 or 2016. We were hanging out, and it was the morning after a night of camaraderie, board games, and just good old-fashioned fun. So it was like 9 or 10 in the morning. We were all awake. It was me, Cody, Colt's brother, Colt, Tanner, and somebody who shall not be named.
No.
Because they are not a good person. But anyway, so we're sitting there, and everybody's like, let's do something. What are we gonna do? It's like, well, let's watch a movie. And I'm like, okay, well, let's watch The Raid. It's a cool ass action film with some cool ass fighting. Let's watch it. And everybody's like, yeah, cool. Obviously agreeing to it because he knows I've been talking about it for a while. So we're sitting there. It's starting about 10 or 15 minutes into the movie. Cody immediately says, "This is fucking boring." And at that moment, with how I was too, I was getting very anxious and nervous. I was like,
a little weak, little cuck boy. Let's just be real.
Yeah. and because at the time, this person who shall not be named, and then Tanner were both like, yeah, this sucks. And I'm not blaming this on Tanner. Not blaming this on Tanner at all. Cody just puts out this kind of energy and vibes where basically
say what you've been saying.
Please don't.
I don't know what you're talking about. You're crazy. So he puts out this type of vibe that really kind of gets everybody kind of to match it or to like make people go along with it. And I understand that. That's fine. I completely blame Cody for this. If I blame anybody, I'm gonna blame Cody.
Yeah. And Wenzel was also like pretty new to the group at this time too.
Yeah, that's true too. And so yeah, so we get probably like a few more minutes in. Colt's trying to defend me basically by saying like, well, we have to give it a minute, but Cody isn't having it. So I'm like, okay, I guess I could just skip through and try to find the fight scenes for you guys. And the thing is, I don't know the exact minutes of it. And of course, I'm getting nervous. I don't think to go back to the menu, to go back to the specific scenes. And we basically just sit there while I do that. But then it takes me too long to do that. So Cody even gets more upset, huffing and puffing. And so I have to basically just go on YouTube, search up the fights, and that's how I show them the fights on YouTube.
Yeah, it was pretty fucked up. Looking back on it, it's pretty fucked up. I kind of like, until Wenzel like started talking about, I kind of just like knocked it out of my brain because I was like, damn, that was cringe.
I still have no memory of this. Like hand on everything. I do not remember this.
No, it's so funny because I remember it because obviously I was the focal point in this, but I just never forget it because every time we talk about the raid, everybody's like, yeah, I've never seen the raid. And I just think in my head, I'm like, you fucking liars. You fucking liars. I showed you the first 15 minutes of raid and you hated it. You hated it. You liars. Well, yeah. Yeah, and it was just funny because I've been kind of I was going to say it for the podcast until Tanner brought it up because Tanner beforehand he was like, Cole, you haven't seen the raid, and Cole was like, no, and he was like, okay, I haven't either, and I was just thinking to my little brain, I was like, they have seen the raid.
Well, technically speaking, we hadn't seen the raid.
Absolutely, no, you're right, absolutely right. You've only seen the first 10 to 15 minutes, and
yeah,
I mean,
the 10-15 minutes. Again, probably 7 or 8 years ago.
Like it's 10 to 15 minutes, like in a time frame that happened 7 to 8 years ago. I mean,
yeah, this pre-podcast.
Who can remember that? If you can remember 10 to 15 minutes that happened 8 to 7 years ago, I mean, it probably might have been something traumatic or embarrassing. But I mean, well, it makes sense for me to remember because it was embarrassing for me. I was very nervous.
Yeah. I like I didn't remember it because as soon as that fight started, because the reason I thought it was JoJo that showed it to us, because JoJo used to show us a bunch of just shit, like just videos in general. So I was just like, oh, JoJo had to have showed this to us at like Cody's old apartment or at their old place or something. Because I distinctly remember seeing the beginning of this fight. Again, I was like, because I didn't think Wenzel was there. I thought it predated Wenzel in the group. So I was like, this had to be 8 or 9 years ago. But yeah, I was almost right.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're not, you didn't, it wasn't a bullseye, but you definitely got close to the mark.
Yeah, I got like 6 points.
Well, I don't have anything more to say about the raid. Other than leading into, I guess my next, I guess I should go ahead and ask it, but here we are. We're done with the summer fisting.
Woo!
Yeah.
Like, so I guess I gotta ask, where do all the films rank for everybody? Now you can say you can say that you're rating for the raid, obviously.
Yeah.
But where do all the films rank? 5 in the 5. So number 1 is your favorite film out of the summer of fisting, and then your number 5 is least favorite, but doesn't mean it's bad.
Yeah, I can easily give my ranking right now.
Yeah, I have my ranking ready. So, but Cole, you go for it.
Okay. The Raid, I gave it 4 stars as well, which is I gave 2 of these other movies 4 stars as well, which is not a bad score at all. But I say this because I think the Raid is my least favorite of the ones we've watched.
Oh wow!
But I still enjoyed it a good bit. And then the what was the first one called again?
Enter the Dragon.
Enter the Dragon is second to last. And then up next, it's fucking easily Drunken Master with that ending scene. And then next is the Kung Fu Hustle. And number 1 is 100% Police Story. Police Story is number 1. And I feel like there's going to be a pattern here with that movie and Maybe my top 3. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I'll go next. So I also went 4 stars on the raid. Well, I'll mention this as I'm doing my least favorite movie of Summer of Fisting, which again, all these movies we watched, I think we all agree on were really good to great to excellent.
Yes.
We didn't watch even like an okay movie this whole run. This was a great run of films.
Yep.
I would say my least favorite was Enter the Dragon. Just because you can feel its age more than the others, I feel like. So I have Enter the Dragon at number 5. At number 4, I have Legend of the Drunken Master. It probably still has my favorite, at worst, second favorite fight scene of this whole iteration of Summer of Fisting, with Jackie Chan's character and the master in the building fighting all, the Axe Gang, as we found out in Kung Fu Hustle episode. So that's sick. My number 3 I would have as the raid. Again, the ultra violence aspect to it I thought was really cool. It is gratuitous. Definitely is not a movie for everybody. It is bloody. It's raw. Like the darkness just adds to it. So yeah, it is super raw. It's awesome. Highly recommend. It's like get past the first 15 minutes because the remaining hour 30 really makes up for it.
Yeah.
My number 2 was Kung Fu Hustle, which shocker, I know. Kung Fu Hustle is incredible, super funny. Love the action in it. But my number 1 with a bullet is Police Story. I thought it like just sitting on it since we've recorded the Police Story episode, which at this point has probably been a month ago, and by the time you hear this episode, would probably been 2 months ago. It's timeless. Like I still think about scenes from the first Police Story.
Yeah.
It is truly a classic that stands the test of time. And I mean, here we are talking about that movie 38 years after its initial release. So yeah, Police Story number 1.
Hell yeah. Yeah, you could probably make guesses about what our number 1s are. But for me, I gave the raid 4 stars as well. That's how I felt about it for the longest time because like they've all said, it's definitely it's that first portion is so slow, and as long as you can get through that, and I know it might be tough for some, but you'll enjoy the rest. Yeah, so I would put at number 5. I definitely agree with Tanner on this one too. Enter the Dragon, because you definitely feel its age. While it's still a good movie, Bruce Lee is still fun to watch.
Yes,
yeah, it's definitely my least favorite, even though it still has 4 stars. Yeah. So, and I should mention too, 5, 4, and 3, they all have 4 stars. So, number 4, this is tough because after seeing them, I'm like, well, shit, like I would probably, this is so tough. I'd have to probably put the raid at number 4.
Wow.
Yeah. So when we first went into this, I was thinking like, man, the raid is going to whip ass, and I was like, it's probably going to be it's probably going to be pretty high for me. I've seen it so many times, I love it, but no, it's number 4, and it's still a good movie. It's just, having seen the other ones, they really kicked ass. So number 3 is Drunken Master, because that building scene with the Axe Gang and the Master and the Drunken Master fighting is so fucking badass. And then the final fight where you have fucking the villain doing all those kicks, that was so sick. I can't get it out of my head. Number 2 is obviously Kung Fu Hustle. It's just so funny, so much fun, and just insane. Just crazy. And then number 1, obviously, like everybody else, is Police Story. Like Tanner said, like Cole have said, I can't stop thinking about it. It's still in my mind. It's still great. It's so much fun. Like I don't know what else could top that in this lineup. So yeah.
Wow. Pretty interesting too, because Cole, were your movies 3, 4, and 5 also 4 stars?
Yep.
Yeah.
Every single we have the same scores for every single movie across the board.
Just a little bit of a different ranking. That's interesting. And consensus top 2 with Police Story at 1 and Kung Fu Hustle at 2.
Yeah, and I was right. As soon as we started Police Story, I said this is going to be the best one we're going to watch during this whole thing, and I was right.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right.
Called it in the opening credits of Police Story. It's just, but like honestly, you can't go wrong with any of the movies that we've covered here for Summer of Fisting. Like they are all great in different ways. I mean, we watched 2 Jackie Chan movies. They're all so different.
Technically 3, because Jackie Chan's in.
Yes, he's in Enter the Dragon, but it's not a Jackie Chan movie.
Yeah.
Like Police Story or Legend of the Drunken Master. Yeah, they're all so different. I think there's something here for everybody. I mean, so what we want to do with Summer of Fisting is we wanted to do like essentially a action movie 101 here with us. I mean, we've seen action movies before, but we've never really delved into at least I had delved into like sort of the kung fu realm of it. So that's what we did, and then obviously we capped it off with The Raid, which is kind of funny, like this full circle moment for Wenzel. Finally, after 8 years, getting to show us The Raid, and we come away loving it. I think it's really funny. I also think it's funny that I like The Raid more than he did.
Yeah,
just kind of funny. But yeah, like I think there's something here for everybody. And if it's been a few years since you've seen some of these, I mean, granted, we've covered movies that are 50 years old. So go back and watch them because they all kick ass in different ways. They're all great.
Yeah. This is probably this is probably one of the film projects we've done on this besides the only other one I can think of is Star Wars. This is like it's super fun.
Oh yeah, definitely. This is definitely, now that I think about it, probably the only, like, I mean, we did Star Wars Files. We wasn't involved with Fast and Furious Files. Or at least I wasn't. I don't know if y'all were on them. I don't think so.
No,
I was not. I ain't watching that dog shit.
Hey, okay, calm down. But we've watched movies before for singular episodes, but yeah, it's just like, I don't know if we've ever watched movies in a single episode that have like the combined batting average of these 5 movies. Like I said, all these movies are great I mean, with Police Story, we're all in agreement. I mean, 5 stars, it's like perfection.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's Summer of Fisting.
I want to say, like, I don't want this to be the last time we do this because I fucking loved it.
Yeah, I want to do Summer Fisting again, and I think for next Summer Fisting we got to watch The Raid 2.
Oh,
it's so funny. Like we have The Raid 2 and Police Story 2 that we could potentially do, but yeah, that definitely probably on the docket somewhere is a Summer Fisting 2.
Oh, if I have to.
Yeah, sorry, Cole. Gotta watch more action movies with your pals.
I guess.
Just make a little groan for me. There we go.
Wow, you sound like you were throwing up.
No, I was groaning.
Damn, you have some fucked up groaning.
Well, do we have any
hear me moaning?
Any final words for Summer of Fisting here before we get into plugs?
I hope we influence you to go out and beat up the first person you see. Just kidding. Do not do that.
Colt said that.
I hope we influence you to go out and hug your family members.
Wow, you could have just said watch the movies.
I was about to say,
just cherish them because, good God, the guy from Raid will beat the shit out of you and stab you in the neck.
Oh man, what if it was like the one Lakeith Stanfield ad for Haunted Mansion?
Enjoy
your family while you can.
While you still have them. Whatever the hell that means.
Like why you still enjoy this movie while you still can, like with your family. I think yeah, okay. Oh my god.
Yeah, watch these movies. They're good.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, are we ready for plugs?
Yes.
Plug it.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening to our final installment of Summer of Fisting here, Punch 5, The Raid. As always, you can listen to us on SoundCloud, on Apple Podcasts, on Google Podcasts, on Spotify, on Overcast, on every RSS feed catcher. We are there doing stuff. And kind of really this feels like the end of our summer season as we move into like our fall lineup of content.
Yeah, I
so-
mean, this is coming out. I don't know when, but it's fall is right here.
Yeah, it's close to fall. Follow us on Twitter at AYCH Podcast, because as of right now, that's still like the best place to catch all of our news and stuff. You can follow us on twitch.tv/AllYouCanHear. If you're listening to this the week it is airing, I should have started last week my Tuesdays with Tanner series. So definitely go check that out, where every Tuesday I just play a game. Come hang out for a couple hours. We're doing some cool stuff. And also I should have done a Starfield launch stream, but hopefully it's not broken the day it releases. Because we are recording this a little in advance. But anyways, you can follow us on twitch.tv/AllYouCanHear. You can follow us on YouTube, AllYouCanHear, or at AYCH Podcast. We're on Instagram, AYCH Podcast. We are on TikTok.
Tic tac.
Wow, are you so old?
We're on the TikTok. We're on TikTok, AYCH Podcast. We should have some cool TikToks up featuring us at Sidewalk by now. Some Tuscaloosa Taco Tour stuff that we did a couple weeks back. So go check that out. Some really cool stuff we have cooking up over there. And yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Tanner1495.
Me named Colt. Follow me Twitter at ColtD00. Also on Blue Sky at ColtD99.
I always forget my Blue Sky.
Wow. You
It's
shouldn't,
just-
because that's gotta be. Please, I just want to find a new place to be happy/angry. Okay? I don't
Don't
want
we
to
all?
be angry on a social media constantly. I want to have some happy.
Yeah. Thank you for listening. You can follow me, Wenzel, on Twitter at Winsy Wilkie. You can follow my art Instagram at World of Winsy. You can follow my Bookstagram, Wenzel Banters. You can go check out my Goodreads, my Letterboxd. They're on my link tree, links for everything in there. Tell us if we missed anything, maybe things that we did talk about, maybe with Summer Fisting with these films, or maybe you have film suggestions for our next Summer of Fisting. Tell us. Send us a message on Twitter or wherever. Maybe send us an email. I don't know.
Yeah, I do want to thank everybody that voted in the polls, because all of these movies were voted besides The Raid. The movies from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s were all voted on by people that follow us on Twitter and listeners and stuff. So thank you for suggesting really good movies.
Thank you.
Amen.
Yeah, thank you. And go check out Backlog Boys, of course. Go check out Tanner. Go check him out.
hey,
Hey.
ooh,
Yeah.
kill him. Ooh, I know how to kill him. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Go
kill him.
listen to our Sidewalk stuff. I'm sure it's great. Our stuff on TikTok's great. Yeah.
I hope to God it is.
Please.
All right. Any final words? Any wrap up for Summer of Fisting? Any final words?
See you next summer, World Cowboy. That's what they
See you
say, right?
next summer, Mr. Fist. Ka-chow.
Whoa.
Ka-chow?
Yeah.
Lightning McQueen? Okay. All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening, and we'll see you next week on the All You Can Hear podcast.